Welcome back, students. It's Mr. Morris. We're going to continue on with our CAD work. Today, I'm going to show you how to create a gear. It's not going to be 100% correct because the method of actually producing a gear tooth is somewhat challenging. It's called an involute, and that's beyond the scope of this class. So we're just going to create a very simple gear tooth. And a little bit later on, though, I will show you how to import a gear from a distributor like McMaster Car. And that would be pretty neat. You won't have to actually model the gear at all. You're just going to import it. And we will also create a gear using AutoCAD. But today we're going to use Autodesk Inventor. Okay. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I think you'll enjoy this, designing a gear. So let me go ahead and start the recording. Actually, we're recording now. All right. So let me go ahead and make sure I have Inventor open. So I'm going to share my screen. Voila, we're done. No, I'm joking. This is the gear that we're going to create today. Everybody in the online class, take a good look at this. Everyone in the face-to-face class, look up front. This is what we're making today. Okay. We're going to make one little change to it, though. When we get to it, we're going to need a little set screw hole here so that we can lock down our gear. This is the hub. This is the hub of the gear. This is the bore. This is the keyway. To make sure that our key is going to fit in here later on, we got to have a set screw hole here. So we'll worry about that when we get there. Okay. So this is Mr. Morris. I was playing earlier with this tool. And for the most part, gears are custom, or well, they can be custom made, but they already, they're standard gears you can buy off the shelf to work or to serve your purpose. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and go to File, New. You do this with me. Go to File, New. The template here, if it's not expanded, make sure you select metric today. We're going to do something different, and we're going to select metric. Come over here. We're creating a part. We're going to select standard millimeter IPT. We know that IPT stands for Inventor Part File. Click here. And then we're going to come down here in the lower right-hand corner where it says Create. All right. Now, let's go to Start 2D Sketch and Start 2D Sketch. And we are going to click on the frontal plane, which is the XY plane here. All right. Now what we're going to do, I gave my face-to-face students a drawing that I found off the internet, but we're going to modify that very much so. So we're not breaking any copyright laws, but we are going to use it as a guide. And so what we want to do is we want to first go to Circle and go to Circle Center Point and come down here to the origin. See, that's where the X and the Y axis cross, and the Z axis. Click on the origin. You see it's green, click, and we're going to drag out a circle. And notice that the units are in millimeters here. And I want this diameter to be 74.80, enter. Do a right click, select OK. Now you know how to zoom in and out with the scroll wheel, so zoom out so you can see the hole. This is the outside diameter of the gear, okay? Now, the next circle we want to create is what they call like the base circle of the gear. We're going to go to circle again, circle, center point, click at the origin. It should turn green, click. We're going to drag out another circle. This time we're going to make it 64. Enter. Do a right click, okay. Now we're going to do create a construction line. Go to line, and I want you to click at the center, and I want you to draw a line straight up like this. Do a left click, right click, create, or select OK. So we have two circles, and we have an arbitrary vertical line here. And now we're going to use our offset command. So go to offset right here. See where it says offset? Click on that. And then click on this vertical line that we just created. Click and go over here. Pull it to the right. And we're going to type in a dimension of 2.5. Enter. Now we're going to click on this center line again. And we're going to move a line to the other side. We're going to make it 2.5. Enter. Do a right click. Okay. All right. So now we're going to focus in on this area right here. All right. So what I want to do is I want to take this center line here and I'm going to offset it 1.25. Okay. Whoops. I forgot. I thought it was an AutoCAD for a minute. Sorry. Offset. Click on this line, drag it over 1.25. That's what happens when you work with a lot of different CAD software packages. Click here, and we're going to come over this way 1.25. Enter. Do a right click. Okay. So all these lines are 2.5 inches apart. All these lines are 2.5 inches apart from the center. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to go to line, and I want you to click on this intersection. It should turn yellow with you'll see like a cross pattern here. Click here, and then click right here at this intersection right here. Boom. Right click, okay. We're going to draw another line from this intersection right. It'll snap to it. It'll turn yellow. Boom. And boom. Right click. Okay. So we no longer need the construction lines that we used earlier. So if you want, you can do a right click, delete, right click, delete, right click, delete, right click, delete, right click, delete. I deleted those 4 lines. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to trim this. See trim, and we're going to click here. And now we have a little gear tooth standing off by itself. And I also want you to zoom in and click in between this angled line and this angled line. Click inside between the two. All right, you see that? Now what we're going to do is we are going to create a circular array with this gear tooth right here. Okay. Circular array with a gear tooth. So go to circular right here. Now watch, hold down your left mouse button and you're going to drag a window around your gear tooth, release it, release your left mouse button. Now select axis, right here, click on axis, and then come down here to the center. Boom. When you do that, you're going to see a default number of teeth of 6. Well, I don't want 6 teeth. So if you come in here, you can type in 28, which is what we're going to be using here. And we're going to select OK. Now, go back to trim. And what I want to do is watch. I want to go in here and I want to click in the middle of every one of these angled lines, and you'll see 2 little yellow dots appear after you successfully do that. Okay, see how I'm trimming that out? Look, I'm going in between 2 angled lines. Make sure you select the right ones. And I am trimming, and I am having fun. I'm going around and doing this, right? I'm cutting away what I don't need. I am cutting away what I don't need, or I should say trimming. I don't need those lines there. Going around, see this? I'll make sure I'm still recording. Am I still recording? Yes, I am. Sorry. Just want to double check to make sure. All right, I've gone all the way around. You can see the little yellow dots showing me that I have successfully trimmed out the middle part, right? That I want to get rid of. Do a right click, okay. When you do that now, you have this profile that we can extrude. So we're going to go to finish, zoom out some, and we're going to go to extrude. And when you do, that whole profile should extrude. Did yours extrude? Some people have the thumbs up in the air. All right, now I don't want it. It looks like my default is 10 millimeters. I don't want 10 millimeters. I want 25.4, which we know is an inch. However, I want to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to flip it right here, flip it, and I'm going to select OK. Okay. We're not making this exact year. So there's some changes.
I left 2 of my flash drives here.
I have to wait till after the video. Okay, I'm making a video. All right, so start 2D sketch, and click on this face right here. All right, now what we're going to do here is we're going to draw another circle. Go to circle center point, and we're going to click right here at the origin. We're going to drag this out. We need to make this, I think I made it 35 millimeters. Enter. Do a right click. OK. We're going to finish the sketch. And we're going to extrude this distance right here. I want to extrude it as 12.5. And I'm going to select OK. All right. So give me a thumbs up if you got that. Some of you will have to go back and watch the video later because you've missed too much of the video, so you'll have to watch it later. So, this is actually called the hub, or will be the hub of the gear. This is how we're going to secure the gear to a shaft of some sort. All right, now what I want you to do is go to Start 2D Sketch, Start 2D Sketch, and click on this face. And we're going to draw another circle right there. And we want to make this circle 20.830. 20.830. Enter. Do a right click, select OK, finish the sketch, and we're going to extrude this. I actually did this differently earlier, but that's okay. I'm going to get it the other way, and I want to make sure I go all the way through the part. So I'll just type in, I don't know, 50 millimeters, and select OK. That should take me all the way through the part. Let's see if it did. And it did. All right, now what I want to do is I want to put a keyway in here. Mr. Morris, what is a keyway? It's a keyway, in this case, is a rectangular keyway that allows you to lock the gear, or it could be a pulley, or it could be a sprocket, where you lock it to the shaft. So that when the shaft turns, so does the gear or the pulley or the sprocket. And then we have to add a set screw to actually secure it. Go to Start 2D Sketch, Start 2D Sketch, and click on this face right here. All right, now I want you to draw a construction line from the center right here, going up. And you want to cross over the 12 o'clock position of the circle. So just cross over slightly. Do a left click, right click, create. So I have this line here. All right, now what I want to do is I want to click on, watch, project geometry, and click on that circle. All I did was project the sketch of that circle. Why did I do that? So I could go to rectangle, 2-point center. Look, I'm going to go to the 12 o'clock position. It will snap to the intersection of the line of the circle, and you're going to pull out a rectangle like this. And I'm not going to put any dimensions on. I'm just going to do a left click, right click, okay. This is going to be my rectangular keyway, so that I can put a rectangular key in there to line up the shaft with the hub of the gear, and it will interlock the two together, and then we'll do our final securing with a set screw. Now, we have to put some dimensions on here. So go to dimension, click on the center here, click on this top surface, click on that top line, and then click again. We're going to make this 12.52. Select your green check mark. All right, now I have another dimension to do here. Go to dimension, click on this line and this line, drag it up, click, and we're going to make this dimension 5.01. And we are going to select the green check mark. Finish the sketch. Now, I want to delete this line. I don't need it, so just do a right click on that. And now, notice something. It won't let me delete it. You know why? Because I've got to go back in my sketch. I can only delete that line in my sketch. Come over here to your sketch 4, or whatever sketch number this is, the last one you did. Do a right click on sketch 4 and come down and edit the sketch. When you do that, I can go in here now. I can do a right click on that line and delete it. All right, now I'm gonna finish sketch. All right, here it goes. I'm I'm gonna extrude. Click on the inside. You may have to do it twice. We want it nice, so do it twice. And we're gonna go that way. Select the, and we're gonna go 50 millimeters is fine. Say okay. All right, now that is our gear so far. Okay. Now this is a little tedious, what I'm getting ready to ask you to do, but it kind of gives you the final touches of your gear. We have to put a little fillet in. See this line right here? That line. We have to put a little arc or fillet in there. A fillet is internal rounded corner. So go to fillet, and set it at 2 millimeters. Set your fillet at, oh, actually not 2, I'm sorry. Type in 0.25, 25 millimeters, okay? You don't actually have to put the M's there, but now look carefully, look. I'm gonna show you a magic trick. Click here, and if I come over here, that's also that same line, but it's like X-ray vision, right? Click here, and you can go around and see, you just kind of hover there for a minute or two. Click, and click here, look. Make sure you got the right line. Click here, click here, click here, 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 here. See, make sure it that line comes to that intersection right there. Click here. Be careful that you don't select the wrong line. It's very easy to do. And I'm basically going all the way around the gear, selecting those internal rounded corners. All right, so that one's hard to get to. So I'm just go ahead and select OK. All right, I see where I stopped. All I gotta do is come over here and do a free orbit. Hold down the left mouse button, move it, go back over here and turn free orbit off. And we're gonna go to fillet, make sure it's 0.25 and continue where we left off right here. See here, see? Sometimes it's not easy. You might have to zoom in. You might have to zoom in sometimes to pick up on it. See how I'm not even seeing that corner, right? But I can X-ray vision here and pick up on it. It looks like I've made it all the way around 360 degrees. Select OK. Now, if you zoom in, you can see the little fillet there. Okay. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to create a set screw hole, a threaded hole to put my set screw in so I can lock the gear down on the shaft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to come over here on your browser. Come over here on your browser. By the way, how many of y'all are still with me? Only a couple hands went up. I'm going to expand the origin. And I want to, sorry. I want to go to the XZ plane, do a right click on that and turn on the visibility. There's a reason I want to do that for. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to go start 2D sketch, and I want to click on that plane because I want to draw on that plane. Okay. All right. Now, what I want to do is I want to go to where it says project geometry, and you kind of hover until you see the line. I want you to click on that line, and I want you to click on that line. Mr. Morris, I don't see those lines. Well, if you come down here, you will see them. Okay. So those lines are there. We're going to do by the way, try this. I want to try something here. Do a finished sketch. I was just checking something for a minute. I'm just checking something just for a second. All right, so I'm in this view here. What I want to do is I want to go back to the sketch again, right click and edit the sketch. And I'm going to draw a line. That intersection to about right there. Right click. You can't see the line because the line is right there. Now I want to go to, I want to finish the sketch. And I want to go to whole. Oh, cancel out of that. Go back to the sketch again. Do a right click, edit the sketch. And I'm sorry it keeps moving on us. There's a way of slicing the graphics. Mr. Morris hasn't done it so long. I forgot how to do it, but I'll go back and review that. I want to go to this point here, point. If you move your cursor along that line, it will show you the midpoint. It'll turn green. As soon as it turns green, click. Do a right click, OK. Now do a finish, right? Go to hole. Now I don't want a hole that big. That's huge. We want a metric hole. So go to type and go to metric. And we want let's try 3 for a minute. Undo that. Let's go to hole. I don't want to go down like that. That's the problem. All right, so what do we do here? I'm trying to think. I want to go up. What do I... Okay, y'all still with me? I know you probably lost because I got off track here a little bit. What I'm trying to do is I just want to draw. I'd say I'll make this easy on myself. I'm going to draw. Go back to sketch, which means I got to go back to the sketch again right here. I'm gonna do a right click on that, edit a sketch, and I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw a circle right there where that point is, and I'm gonna make it 3 millimeters. Right click, okay. Now, I want to finish that and I want to extrude that hole. You may have to do both halves. We want to go up, and I want to do it like maybe 25. But I want to bust through the top like this and do a cut. Make sure you select where it says Boolean, do a cut, select OK. Now I'm gonna come in here and put in some threads. So go back to, you could just go to thread and click on that, not that. Go to thread right here, go to thread, click on thread, and I want to make sure that's what that's what I want right there. Select OK. Now I don't need that plane on anymore. So I'm gonna go over here and do a right click on that plane and turn off the visibility. There's a few more things I want to clean up. I don't like this sharp edge, and I don't like how we don't have a fillet in here. So we can go to fillet, click here. 0.25 is too small. Let's make it 2 millimeters. Make it 2, maybe even make it 1. 1 is fine. Select OK. Now I want to do one other thing. I want to go to chamfer, click on chamfer, click on this edge. I don't want it to be 2 millimeters. I want it to be 1 again. And I think that looks pretty good. Select OK. All right. I don't know if you were able to keep up with me during this lecture, but this is our gear. Congratulations, you made your first gear. Now what I want to do is I want to finally save this. Okay, so I'm going to stop my share just for a minute. Remind me I have to share my screen again. Stop the share just for a minute. And I want to go back to Canvas just for a minute. I want to check something. You don't have to do this. I'm just checking. I want to make sure I name it correctly. Give it a right file name. CAD 140. This is going to be called OER14. Okay, OER14 is what I have to remember. All right. So I'm going to go back to, I want to share my screen. All right, I'm back. Now, we're going to make this OER what? What I just said I was going to make it. Did I forget that quickly? 14. So we're going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to put it in Downloads. You need to save it where you need to save it so you can access it later. OER14 Spur creating. I don't know, this has to be capitalized. So creating a spur gear using, well, you know what? That's okay. Don't do that. Just call OER14 Spur, all caps, Spur gear. Do that. OER14 Spur gear. Save. And see down here in the lower left-hand corner, it's named this part file as OER14 Spur gear. Now we need to, by the way, that was my first part I did. This is my second one. We need to give assign a material to this. Come up here on the browser, do a right click on that, go to iProperties, and go to physical, and where it says material, arrow down, and we're going to select stainless steel or steel alloy. Steel alloy, apply, close. Now it looks like a real metal gear. And I'm happy with this. I'm just going to do a file, save. I hope you were able to keep up with me. Now I want to lay out a drawing of this. Okay, so I'm gonna go to File, New. We're going to select Metric. Don't select English. And we're going to come down here and select ANSI millimeter ID, this one. Create. We don't want this size. Go to the browser, do a right click on sheet 1, and we're going to edit the sheet, and we're going to change to a size A. We are going to leave it landscape. I know some of y'all have been playing around with your title blocks. That's fine, but most of them are down here in the lower right-hand corner. It's very rare that you see it anywhere else. I'm going to select OK. All right. So there's my sheet of paper, if you will. And this is my part. Now, I'm going to go to the drawing, which is the IDW file, and I'm going to select base. And that's a beautiful size. I think that's perfect. 1:1 is fine. So I'm going to pull this over here like this and just select OK. Okay. See those double lines? That means it's a threaded hole. That's where the set screw is going to go. All right, now I'm going to go to projected. I'm going to do it again. Watch. Projected. You're going to see your red rectangle appear. Do a left click, drag over to the right. Do a left click, right click, create. Now, that's very confusing what's going on there. So maybe we can clean this up by doing what we call a section view. So we're going to delete this. Delete that. Do you want to delete that view? Yes. Okay. So we're going to go to now watch. Go to section. Come over here. Now you're going to, this is a view, you want the section view right here. Click. Now watch, hover. Do not click. You're just going to pick up the center line or the center of that hole. Come straight up through the tooth, off the part, click, come straight down like this. Watch. Click, do a right click, continue. We're going to drag a gear over like this. Yay. There we go. That's looking at the internal details of the gear. Now, if you want, you can project this gear like this. If you want isometric, that's fine. Let me do that again in case you missed it. Go to projected, highlight the view, right? You see the red box, click, drag up, do a left click, right click, create. Left click, right click, create. Then you can drag this down where you want to place it at. You may have to shift some views, maybe. Right. I'm not going to put any view labels on this because we're running out. We're getting kind of late in the day here. I am going to shade this here though. So you're going to highlight that view, do a right click, edit the view, and come in here. We're going to turn on the shaded here, right here. Say okay. And it shades it for us. Okay. Now we need to put a center line in here. So go to annotate, go to center mark, and we're going to click here. That puts, do a right click. Okay. Now you can stretch this out. If you hover over the ends of the center mark, you can hold down the left mouse button and you can pull the, and it looks better if you do it this way. Now the problem is, with the other one, you're actually on the cutting plane line, so you don't have to do that one. Just leave it like that. Same thing here. We want to use our bisector center line. Click here. Now, this is your keyway here, right? This is your keyway. So what you want to do is I tell you what, click here and click here. There you go. Do a right click, cancel, and just stretch that, hold down left mouse, but that's your bicep. The reason why I didn't pick these lines here, because I had to go back and find the 12 o'clock position for that circle, which is no longer there. We cut away the 12 o'clock. So if I pick that line and that line, that would not be in the center at all. Okay. But this is outer diameter, so that works. All right, now what I want to do is I want to add some dimensions here. So go to dimension. We're going to hover. We're going to hover here until you see the symbol here. Try this again. Click on dimension. See when the little circle appears. That's when you can, now, I do not want a radius dimension. So I'm going to do a left click, right click, cancel. You can double click on this. Try this again. I'm sorry. Go to dimension. Now is when I do a right click, dimension type, diameter. And I'm going to put it right here. Okay. That's 64 millimeters, not 64 inches. Then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to put another dimension like what they've got here somewhat. I'm going to come in here and put a dimension from this line to this and bring it off the part like that. Say okay, right click okay. If you hold down your left mouse button, you can drag this up here if you want to. We can kind of check these off as we go to make sure we include most of the dimensions. Okay. I don't see a need to put the one dimension here. So I'm gonna cross the dimensions I don't want. I do want this dimension here, look. I do want this one, look. See if I move it close, move the cursor close to the circle, you see that little circle that appears, click. I don't want the radius, so what I'm gonna do, right click, dimension type, diameter. And I'm gonna come down right through. I don't think that looks good, but if you come down through the middle of that gear tooth right there, or that spacing rather, for click, select OK. Okay, we got that one. Now let's see. We have some dimensions to put over here. Click here, click here. Select OK, got that one. Then we have this dimension here. Now you can see things are starting to get a little congested over here. You can always slide this view over something. So yeah, you can slide that view over something. All right, so I have that dimension there. Now I'm going to put this dimension, I'm going to click here and here. And I'm going to dimension from here, here. You should be starting to get more comfortable doing some of these things on your own, because pretty soon Mr. Morris is going to give you a test to see how well you can do on your own. By the way, I have a hole here, a threaded hole. I need to put a center, a bisector. Go to the bisector center line, and I'm gonna click here and here. All right, that looks good. That's something different than what they had. That's for a set screw. Let me see. Here's something new that I'm going to show you how to do. Go to place view. This is brand new. You've never seen. Go to place views and go to detail. See where it says detail? Click on this, detail. Now move in. Now watch. I'm going to place my cursor right about here. I'm going to drag. Oh, I'm sorry. You gotta click on the view first. Let me do this again. Go to detail. Right, come over here, highlight the view, click, and then move your cursor inward here. Hold down the left mouse button, and we're going to drag out a circle. Click, and look, I'm going to bring this detail over here. So Mr. Morris is getting kind of congested over here. All right, well, what I can do is I can always move it down here. Now it's not too bad. Why are we doing that? So that it's kind of hard to put a dimension here. So I'm going to come down here. Look, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put annotate dimension. I'm going to click right here and right here. And I'm going to pull this up like that. Select OK. And look, this is twice the scale. It enlarged, it didn't change the dimension, but it enlarged the scale. There. By the way, if you don't want that B to go there, do a right click, okay, hold down your cursor, and you can drag this B up here if you want. If that looks better to you. It looks better to me, so it doesn't change this detail, but it just relocates the B. We can go to dimension. This is going to be hard to do, and I'm going to try it anyway. I want to zoom in right here. See this? And I'm going to pull this out like this. And I'm going to add a note to this. I'm going to enter and say fillet radius, or I could say typical, TYP, fillet radius. That's an abbreviation. Actually, I'm going to put radius here. Yeah, I don't really like that too much. I think I'm just going to do this. I'm going to get rid of typical there and put typical here. And put radius on the next line. So that's okay. That looks much better. Y'all still hanging there with me? May, you doing all right? Amai, you doing all right? Come down here. We want to put a bisector center line. Click here between these two lines here. Also, I need another one of those right here. Look. This is not the ideal place to put this, but I'm going to put it here just the same because I don't want to create a top view of this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with a leader. So annotate a leader text. And I don't remember though what. Well, it will let me do it there. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna leave this here temporarily. Oh, just temporarily until I get the note correct because I can't use. Well, I might. Let's see. I might be able to use that feature now. Hang on. I'm gonna do this. That's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna delete this one. Just do a right click, delete. That's the size of the hole. It's really, it's not gonna let me move it to the center here. It's got to stay right there. So that's quite all right. You don't need this dimension here. If you wanted to put it, you could. Actually, it would be more of a reference dimension. The reason why is because it's over here. Now you could delete this one if you want to. You could delete this one, and then you could move this over some more. And you can leave that one there. You can move this. In fact, I like it there better. That's the outside diameter of your gear. So I like that. We got the base circle. We got the outer diameter. What we need now is we need one more dimension. I'm not sure I understand the purpose of it, so I'm not going to put that dimension in there, except I am going to put a note here over here to the side that, oh, you see this section AA scale 1? Look how big that is in comparison to this text. You can reduce the size of this. Look, you can come and reduce the size of that and maybe make it just a little bit smaller. There you go. So it's not so big. Same thing over here. You can come down here, double click on that. You can highlight it just like you do in Word. And you're going to change the text size. Okay, Mr. Morris needs to wrap this up. So we're going to come in here. We're going to edit our title block. It's not necessary to put the views this time. I know you've been doing that, but we know this is isometric now. We can tell this is a section line because of these lines here indicate it's been cut in half. Oh, I do see one other dimension I need to add here. Two other dimensions, actually. Y'all need to get on Mr. Morris. Go to chamfer. Go to chamfer. We're going to click on that little beveled edge there and right there, and look. Now, I'm going to get rid of the word chamfer. Right click OK. I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to highlight chamfer and delete that. Select OK. Okay, that's a 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter by 45 degree chamfer. I have to do the same thing down here with this little fillet radius here. All right. I think that's good enough for that one. Select OK. And I'm happy with this drawing. So I need to go fill out my title block. So remember how we do this? Go over here to the browser. Well, first you have to do a right click OK first to get out of that mode. Do a right click OK. Come over to the browser. Do a right click. Go to iProperties. Go to Summary. This is going to be OER14 Spur here. Subject CAD 140. You are the author, all uppercase letters. The manager would be me, all uppercase letters. And the company is Virginia Peninsula Community College. Now, I'm going to put a note in here. The gear teeth is not drawn correctly. They're not. So gear teeth is not drawn correctly. They're used Okay, so it's just a graphical representation of a gear tooth. Graphical representation of a gear. The reason why is because in the real world, you might not design, you probably just go get a gear off the shelf or one that already exists. You're not going to recreate it. But sometimes you have special gears that you have customized gears that you have to create yourself. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to go to project, and where it says designer, put your last name, all what, uppercase. You're the engineer, put your last name, all uppercase. I am the authority, so put my last name. Go to status, check by you, check the date. Engineer approved by you, check the date. Manufacturer approved by Mr. Morris, check the date. Save, apply, close. Do a file, save, save. What do you think? Does that look good? So the biggest thing that we worked with today was a circular array, making the gear teeth, and then also how to make a detail. This is new. We've never done this, how to make a detail. All right. What you need to turn in to Mr. Morris, go back to go back to your IPT file. I'm going to go to File, Export as an image, and just call it OER14 Spur gear, but change it to a what? A PNG. OER14 Spur gear. Save. Like I said, our gear teeth are not 100% correct. They weren't meant to be. Okay, it was just a quick sketch, if you will, of what the gear teeth might look like. It's more involved than what we did. But I just really wanted to introduce the array, circular array command. Now, here's our drawing. We're going to do what? We're going to go to File, Export, CAD format. Actually, export as a PDF. So that's going to be a PDF. Save. All right. The video will be posted later this evening after I have a chance to review it. And I will also post these drawings in Canvas. And if you were able to stay up with me and do this today, I'm very proud of you. So thank you for working this out with me. All right, so I'm going to stop my share and say goodbye to my online folks. See you a little bit down the road. And we're going to end this.